Hi, I'm Lisa. I founded Yunhai, and just here on a very special occasion with my friends Kathy and Tiffany, who both run very cool Taiwanese food and restaurant projects in Seattle and Mexico City. They both happen to be here for personal reasons, and we decided to get together and do a little tasting, and on a whim, thought we would film it for you guys. So just wanted to introduce them and give them an opportunity to say something about their projects.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm from Seattle, and I run Babalio Taiwanese pop-up. Our goal for the pop-ups is to showcase and tell the stories of less common or underrated Taiwanese dishes that don't really see as much coverage here in the States.
And I'm Kathy. I own Bao Bao Taiwanese Eatery in Mexico City. So basically trying to share a little bit of Taiwan in a very gastronomic city, doing a little bit of grain and sand to make honor to our time in Taiwan.
So we have a few products here that I wanted to have these guys taste and maybe give a sense to you, the viewers, what the experience of tasting these different soy sauces and hot sauces might be, and also just to get some good feedback from people who 100% know the cuisine and know the landscape. So I guess we'll start with the soy sauces. So I think we have a few samples here, not all of them, but I think I'll start with the single origin soy sauces that we have. So this is called, we translate it as Amber River soy sauce, and this one is made from a Taiwanese grown black soybean, and they actually select these with the farmer. So they go to the field and they look at the bean pods, and like depending on how light or heavy they are, they know when they're ready for harvest. So they're very, very, the brewer is very, very particular about this one in particular. They have other soy sauces that they're also particular about, but they're buying the black beans like from a wholesale market versus working with a specific farmer. So this is called Amber River, and this is probably the highest end soy sauce, and it's fermented for over a year in the terracotta vats. And then just for the viewers, you guys may know this, or maybe you don't, I don't know, but it was new to me when I started exploring Taiwanese soy sauce. But these are made from black soybeans only, no yellow soybeans, and no wheat, which is, creates a really unique flavor. I think black soybeans supposedly have more protein.
Right.
The flavor is quite different. So I'm gonna pour out a little bit. We only have, normally I do this with like little straws. We have spoons. Don't feel like you have to drink the whole spoon of soy sauce. You can dump anything. It's like wine tasting, right? You can dump anything in here that you. Oops.
The smell coming from that bottle smells a lot like goats, or like the preserved fermented black beans.
Yeah. Do you want to get
that huge whiff?
Yeah. So actually, interesting fact is the ghost is made from as part of the soy sauce brewing process. So like the fermented black bean that we sell is actually like taken away from the batch to ferment, like right before it goes into the barrels. So
that's great. So you get two different products through one process.
There's a drop for you. That's all you need. Yeah, you get two different products through one process, and actually, that's kind of the traditional, like black beans, like well outdate soy sauce. Oops. Was that enough? Let's try.
Yes, it's very good.
So it'd be great to get your tasting notes.
Ooh, it finishes out a lot sweeter than I expect. Yeah, that was really delicious.
Any impressions, or how would you describe the flavor?
I would say the smell of it was so dark, almost had like a whiskey barrel kind of smell to it. So I was expecting it to be very pungent, very sharp, but when you taste it, it immediately kind of like balanced, kind of rounds out like weird buttery sweetness at the end. Yeah, it's really lovely.
I like that as well.
Yeah. That one I really like to finish things with, like just a little bit on congee or something like that. To me, it's like really, I feel like it's really funky and barnyardy.
Yeah.
It's so natural. The other cool thing about the brewery is that their koji strains have been at the brewery for 3 generations. And like those, of course, you can like buy different koji types, but those cultures like develop in the environment. So we always talk about like Taiwan's terroir,
Right.
and the soy sauce I think definitely has that. It's not even just Taiwan, but it's like the actual brewery that they're made at. So Yu Ding Xing is the brewery. So this is soy paste with glutinous rice. And soy paste is, like, to me, it's like a very, very Taiwanese ingredient. It's kind of like Taiwan's oyster sauce in a way, except, you know, vegan. But this is actually, so soy paste is like soy sauce that's been thickened with like rice starch. And the brewer told me that like in the old days when people were totally making their own, they would just basically like cook glutinous rice, almost like congee in a way. So they would thicken the rice with this soy sauce, and that would be like the condiment. So this one you can actually see has like the rice grains in it. So it looks like chunky, but it's actually just a testament to like this, how natural this product is. It's just thickened like in the same way that, like congee is made. So this is actually Amber River that has been cooked with the rice. So this is 2 related products. This is also single
That's so
origin.
interesting.
Yeah. So do you want a different spoon or do you want to use your same spoon?
I'm fine with
Okay.
it.
That's like gonna taste really good, so you'll probably enjoy the whole.
And would you normally marinate with this as well as incorporate it into stir fries?
I use this one very often in all kinds of ways. So just the other day, John and I made like what's the word? Like blanched greens, and then we diluted it with water, just on its own with warm water, and then that turned that into like a drizzle sauce, very similar to what you do with oyster sauce.
Right.
I use it all the time at the end of stir fries to sort of like, well, I don't know what you guys think, but I feel like in Taiwanese cooking, there's quite a few dishes that are saucy, but there's also tons of stir fries that are actually not full of sauce. It's like, you know, it's like the celery, tofu, pork strips, and like it's just glazed almost. So I feel like this lends that glaze without being like super, super saucy. So I use this at the end. And then, I use it pretty much in everything. Like, we have a zonzi recipe that uses it. We marinate things with it. I love to use it. We'll try the chili crisps in a second. With, like, chili crisp or chili oil as just a, like, making, like, ban mian. Just, like, to put the noodles and mix this in, fried egg and vegetables on top. And that's it. So, yeah.
I love that it, like, actually has a texture about it.
Yeah. Yeah, how would you guys describe
it adds like a kind of a sweetness to it. I feel like it almost reminds me of like a sweeter type of miso in the finishing flavor. And I think a lot of people, like families tend to only have one bottle of soy sauce at home. So it's always like sort of a hard sell, or to kind of explain why you have to sort of try different ones in this way. We are always sort of trying to emphasize some of those cleaner dishes that you've talked about, and treating soy sauce like a finishing salt, or just a little bit of a, I don't know, like a garnish or something that you add to like bring that dish to a different level. And that's sort of important for me to get across, because I think the Taiwanese food and Chinese food that you're seeing in the States, it does tend to veer towards the saucier or like the heavier, more robust flavors. And for me personally, I just grew up with those very like clean, produce-driven like flavors that are just like include the lightest touch of these beautiful soy sauces. And so it's so important to me that these various products exist.
I loved it. I love it. I think it's very luscious. I love the texture of it. I love also like the balance. I find that because they're not mass produced, they have a very special artisanal like touch to them. I can't really like describe it with just as eloquently as you have. But it's just it's for me. It's the first time that I try this type of product. In Mexico City, we have available what's mass produced and what actually gets, and we try to work around that. Like we end up doing like our own sacha sauce, because it's like sometimes you don't get access to like consistently get the products that you would like, or that represent Taiwan for you. So just trying these out, I think that I mean, they're lovely, and also they're to me, it's like something new and just wonderful to be able to try.
You could probably brew good soy sauce in Mexico City.
I thought about it
because like the Taiwan brewing method is like all about these like terracotta vats are like under the sun heating. And, like I think the Japanese method is more inside and like dark and much longer, but the Taiwan is like fast paced. It's like clay baking in the sun. It's hot, and that's like maybe you could do that there. I think I would consider like, can I do this in upstate New York? But it's like not right. I'm like,
we can talk about doing it in Mexico maybe.
Yeah, how does snow affect this? Do you guys need a break? Are you good?
I'm ready for that.
Okay, cool. So speaking of other soy sauces, so one thing that we're not trying to do is like we're not trying to replace like the conventional soy sauces because like there's always you can't. I mean, of course, if this is like you're making soy sauce by yourself as a family like 100 years ago or whatever, yes, you have access to this only. But like right now, it's like really hard to be like, okay, cool, we use really expensive soy sauce for every single thing. So we're not trying to necessarily replace these like grocery store conventional goods, but to like supplement them or to just create like another level, just like American groceries or Northern European groceries or whatever. I don't actually know that much about Mexico City groceries, but I imagine this is true too, where it's like you have your base level and then there's access to like all these different things that people are making.
Right.
And I just kind of felt like, why don't we have access to what's happening in Taiwan here,
right?
but you can get like any manner of like small batch pasta or olive oil or whatever. So that's kind of the thinking. But they also make these. So this is a single origin. So Yu Ding Xing also makes non-single origin, still like very highly selected. So this is the firewood soy series. So there's a soy paste and a soy sauce, and whereas these are like gluten-free and like just very 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 pure, these are like a little bit more have more ingredients like licorice and things like that to create kind of this like guzao way, this like the like old-fashioned flavor, and so we can try that next. And are you ready to switch spoons or do you want to?
I'll switch.
Okay, you can drop them in. Take a break and wash them. There you go. And then these are also the same product. So this soy paste is made from this soy sauce.
Oh, okay, alright. Would you say that you can sort of use this to fortify like a lu wei, like those marinades, those cold marinated dishes?
I would actually use like the vat bottom, which is the richest part of the brew. I don't have that here, but that's like more like it's actually technically not dark soy sauce. It's not thick in that way, but it's more salty and richer. This to me is like very much an all-purpose use soy sauce. So, and this one, has a little bit of wheat, so you'll get like a slightly, see what you think, but the flavor's quite different, I think. Here it comes. Whoa, okay. Maybe I'll hold the spoon. Sure. Better depth perception.
So this is the soy paste.
That's the soy sauce.
Yeah, soy sauce.
You do smell a lot of the other spices in there, like fennel seed is more pronounced. What did you think about this one?
Very different than the first one.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I find it softer, but it's but in a good way.
Yeah.
So basically, the other one I think is more like used for finishing purposes and more to just a bit more balance. This is like to me has less aroma than the first one, but then it's like more like stronger in flavor.
I almost feel like I would want to use this in like a more, it's like a stir fry, like a simple stir fry dish, like or if you do like a tom leaf and you just want to add a little bit of that soy sauce to it, it sort of reminded me of that dish the minute I tasted it.
Yeah, I use that one more often because it's also a little less expensive, and it's just somehow it folds into pretty much everything.
Right.
And like it's a little bit different depending on what you're eating it with. But I love that product too. I'm gonna use both of these, kind of like complementary to each other. So the Amber River, and then definitely this one much more in stir frying or cooking. And then this is a soy paste. So
Would you say?
Oh wait, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, no. Would you say it's like fair to maybe generalize a little bit that like, you know, a lot of folks ask me, why can't you just use like a Kikkoman or a general brand soy sauce for a lot of your recipes? And like, well, sometimes you do have to make do with whatever you can get. I feel like there are really notable flavor differences, and like Taiwanese food in general tend to be a little more sweet. And I feel like even their soy sauces tend to have a sweeter finish to it, whereas some general soy sauces that you get in the store is like very sharp. That like that salt flavor is very forward, and then it just like maybe is a little too edgy, if you can call it that. Like I tend to feel like Taiwanese food needs like kind of a more mellow, buttery soy sauce.
Yeah, I think that difference is definitely there. So the conventional soy sauces to me like are also good. They're very bright and can be like very light.
Right.
But these have this like earthy, mellow, buttery thing. And I've definitely heard a lot of people say like, oh, this reminds me of like old Taiwanese food, or like I haven't tasted this flavor in a really long time. And I think when you're tasting the soy sauces, you kind of get that sense, but really when you're cooking with these soy sauces, and for me it's like when we are out of stock and I can't even get them, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't people are coming over. How am I supposed to make this dish? So I've been like very spoiled. But yeah, I definitely think that there's like this, that Fuzhou, like Taiwan flavor. And a lot of it just comes out of like the, to me it's like the history of Taiwan too, where it's like, they weren't using wheat in their soy sauces because it's an island where they're not growing like a ton of wheat. So instead they're using rice, they're growing a ton of rice. And then the black soybeans, I'm not sure the history of that, but that became like a very Taiwan thing because they were cultivating that crop instead of yellow soybeans. And so it just develops to make this. It's not like one is better than the other or anything, but it's just like there's a voice there and a perspective that's developed over like so many years and generations.
Yeah,
so
and like
and even from family to family.
Yeah, and like the recipe is still the dish, but you do feel like you're missing something.
Yeah, it's just different. Yeah, it's just interpreted differently. So, so those are some of our soy sauces.
This
What do you
I
think
think
of
the
This
licorice.
one's so good.
This one is amazing.
Yeah,
like it's this has been just sort of like my revelation so far. Right?
Yeah,
There's a like really this like licorice like aftertaste. This
the roundness.
The roundness
Yeah,
of it
yeah,
is buttery, it's earthy, it's licorice.
Yeah.
Like it's this one is amazing.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's like a placebo thing, but we're talking about steamed rice, and I definitely taste steamed rice.
Exactly. Even more than the one that even has a little
rice.
bit. Yeah, exactly. So might be placebo, might be something.
I know.
Might be something there as well.
It's darn good.
Yeah.
And now we're passing it on to you. So you can taste steamed rice too.
This is not a paid partner.
No, it's not.
Cool. So those are the soy sauces. Do you guys have energy to try some hot sauces? Yes. And we don't. Okay, so now we're going to try the sous chili crisps. So sous chili was the first product that I started importing back in 2019. So I think my aunt brought me some, like at a family reunion, and I was like, this is amazing. And so for years I was just trying to find him online, and I was like, meet me at this hotel with 6 cases of your product. He just show up. His name is Jay. The English name is Jay. And then at some point I was like, okay, well let me just try to, like I'd give it to friends, like, can I get more of that stuff? I'm like, I'm not going to Taiwan for another year. So I just decided to like airship it in and see what would happen, and that's how Yu and I started. So this is our original product. We started with the mala flavor, which is like the, tingling and spicy. And like 2 weeks ago, we released 2 more flavors, cilantro and 5 spice.
Awesome.
And his story is that, this is his family's like chili oil or chili crisp recipe.
Right.
So I was saying before the video started that like it's not really a replacement for like lao gao, which is like definitely like super sweet, like super salty in a good way. It's just like a total condiment, like put a little goes a long way. This is definitely much more like if you were making your own chili oil at home. At least this is how I view it. What would you make so that you could add spoonfuls and spoonfuls to like a red oil wonton sauce, or like cook with it as like mapo tofu without like adding too much of the other stuff. So that's the context, and then I think we can try the mala one first. So that's this one. tablespoon to stir it up. There's all the sediment at the bottom.
I've been curious, like, how difficult that conversation is to translate to action when you're, say, a fan of a product in Taiwan, and then you're trying to get them to sort of work with you or sell with you. How difficult is that to sort of make them sort of like see what you're trying to do and actually have the product be redesigned in a way, or like rejarred, relabeled?
In Taiwan, it's like not as hard as you would expect, maybe, just given that it's like food. But it's because Taiwan, like a lot of these products, like all the soy sauce labeling is already so designed. Like they're into like design and labeling and packaging already. So for a Western audience, like to us, we're trying to port that sensibility here, not really change it. So even this packaging is designed by a Taiwanese design studio called O.oo, which is great because like to try to do packaging, it's like Chinese typography is like beyond me and most people here. Where I'm like, what are the Chinese fonts? I don't even know. So like that side of it is like quite easy, and then people there are very flexible. So like the maker, we're like, can we redesign the packaging? He's like, sure. And then he designed the bottle, or he like picked the bottle, but we're just like, okay, like what are the parameters? We looked in the parameters, and then we're not developing a product there. The dried fruit we did develop and kind of figure out, but this was like basically pre-existing, and we're just trying to like represent them here. So it's not as hard. So what do you guys think of the olive oil?
At the beginning, it's a bit a lot more subtle, like you mentioned. Not a big, strong condiment of sorts, but then it has it brings a kick like right afterwards. Very aromatic, not as spicy. So you can just use it in a lot more ways than you can use, I think, glaucoma.
The numbing is like very like it is numbing, but it's not quite so strong. I think sometimes it's overkill.
I think it does very.
Exactly. So
sediments.
And then like as I kept like tasting it more, it just kind of builds up, but not to the point where it's just too much.
I will say it's like almost I don't know, like a citrusy, if that even makes sense. It's like
because it's actually a citrus, right?
It just like helps you. It's aromatic in that citrusy way, and then it like kind of makes you salivate. So it like mellows out that flavor a little bit.
Cool. Well, we have some more. We have just enough to try the other. So this one is a new flavor. So this is cilantro, and then this one actually is, I've never heard of a cilantro chili oil. This is something Jay and his girlfriend or fiance are super big cilantro fans, which many people are not, but many people in Taiwan really, really are. And so they were like, let's make this like ode to cilantro. So this is the cilantro chili crisp.
So does it incorporate the fresh and the coriander?
It's actually the fresh leaves that get like basically like frizzled. Apparently that's like a favorite word of mine, but kind of like fried. Sorry, this is kind of drippy, but I want you to get a little bit of the sediment in here. You can just drop that in here. All right, give you that, and then I'll do a new one. And I guess you can also, smell this one is also not very spicy, in my opinion.
I feel like we all have to kind of like cilantro to be doing what we do, right?
My business partner is not a fan of cilantro. She's very, very Taiwanese, so. She has a backpack that says, do not add cilantro.
Oh, wow.
And you can
also, it's definitely funkier.
It's quite different, right?
The smell is so savory.
Exactly.
Which
so
is weird
savory,
for cilantro. It's not what I expect at all.
If you smell those two too, they're like very, very different.
But this one has a kick, like just it kind of comes by before the malai, which I did not expect at all. Like I thought it would be less so or more cilantro focused, but it has both.
To me, it's like very savory and
I'm very befuddled right now that cilantro can taste the savory.
It's interesting because it completely transforms when it's cooked. So I was saying that Lillian, who's our operating officer, doesn't like cilantro, but she's into this because it doesn't have what some would describe as soapy or bright, but it's actually more somewhere between, like, because coriander is very savory, so it's kind of like in between. I feel, but to me that one is great. It also has a lot of onion and garlic in that one too. So, and then finally we have the 5-spice one. So this one is spicier, and we kind of like got audience requests for what they would want from their chili crisp, because you don't always want mala. Sometimes you're having like steamed fish or something, and the cilantro one we felt was perfect for that.
Absolutely.
And then sometimes you have like a big bowl of beef noodle soup, and you're trying to just like get the bold spicy flavor in. So that's what this one was kind of designed for. So here we go. This one is, I think this one is quite a bit spicier, so just taste with caution. Still not like crazy spicy, but it goes down the wrong pipe, you're done for like half an hour. You know what I mean?
Breathe carefully, everyone. This is very savory smell, right? This
very
smells like beef noodle soup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like wu in a jar. Yeah, but spicy.
This is yum.
I got
No,
something like a
seriously.
little salty sweet in there.
Yeah, I think you probably put a little bit more salt, and it's just like a touch, because people would often ask us, what happens if you add salt? What happens if you add sugar? We're like, well, try to keep it like pretty clean so you can adjust the proportions.
Right.
But yeah, he added a little bit to that.
So it's more versatile with all the uses.
Yeah, and I love to pair these with the soy paste. Just like noodles, those two things, totally happy.
Yeah.
Or like fantuan or whatever. So in a way, it's like nice to have it not be, in my opinion, too sweet, because then you can pair it with sweeter condiments.
Have you seen this like crazy sort of TikTok, Instagram trend of people putting chili crisp on top of their ice cream?
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I have not actually tried that. I'm more of a black sesame taste on top of ice cream, but I feel like that would be really good, and I should try it.
I think so too.
There's like ice cream flavors that are like made with chili crisp. So
Yeah.
maybe to come. But yeah,
That was great.
what'd you think?
Awesome.
My mouth is on fire in a really great way.
Thanks for coming to visit me in New York, and hope
Our pleasure.
I can't wait to come to Mexico City to your
Please.
restaurant.